Hi, my name is Kiara again, and today I'm going to show and share with you guys some realistic ways on how you guys can sell your art online and how you guys can do commissions, make a living out of your art. Just a disclaimer, I don't do art full-time. I'm a university student right now, so I do art as my part-time job. So I wanted to start off by saying that I started around 2 years ago when I made my first Instagram account, and then I started accepting commissions from my friends, my relatives, and even though I wasn't getting paid as much, I was able to build up my portfolio. The first question that I usually get asked is, how do I get people to buy my art and how do I get works commissioned to me? First and foremost, what I want to say is to put your art out there. I put my art up on Instagram, but you guys also can put up your art on Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, DeviantArt, and other platforms, but I find that Instagram is one of the most effective. Social media is the most accessible gallery that anyone can come across, and that is why you need to build your portfolio. So essentially, a portfolio is like a visual resume. It's the first thing that your clients look at before buying anything, before hiring you. In order for your clients to hire you, you have to present yourself well, you have to put out your best effort, you have to put your best foot forward. So I suggest using Unum. It's an Instagram planning application wherein you can plan your colors, the aesthetic you choose, you can plan how your feed will look like so that when your clients go to your account and when people go to your account, they'll see, oh, this looks so pleasing on the eyes. Lots of people ask me, how do I get my art out there if I don't have much followers, if I don't have a following? So there are lots of ways for you to gain followers on Instagram. There are lots of ways for you to gain followers on all the social medias. But one of the most important ways is connecting with your audience. So one way to do that is by joining art support posts. Essentially, it's a post where an artist says, okay, comment your name, your specialty, what you like, and then you check out other artists on that thread too. So usually I'm like, hi, my name is Kiara, I like acrylic paint, and then I check out other artists and then I give them a follow and then they follow back. So when you make an Instagram art account, you don't want to follow, people with personal attachments to you because they're a different part of your life. This is your art life. So you want to focus on your art life. That's why I have two accounts, one for my personal and one for my art account. You essentially want to post the works that are relevant to your field of art. I used to think that if you were good in so many things, for example, you can paint in gouache, you can paint in oil, you can paint in watercolor, UX, UI design, more people will hire you because you have a huge amount of skill set. However, that's not how it works because people don't like getting confused. They like to know 1:1, not 1:50. More people are likely to commission you for the things that you specialize in. So another thing to consider is, what do you guys specialize in? For me, I specialize in acrylic. So once you open your commission, you have to be transparent about what you can do, what you don't do. If you don't do things like graphic things, or if you don't like painting people, if you only like painting inanimate objects, if you only like making art out of these things, you have to specify that so people don't get hassled to ask you and then get disappointed or don't hire you eventually. So once you've built up your portfolio, you have your Instagram account, it's time to say, hey, my commissions are open. And once your commissions are open, you want to post this as much as possible everywhere you can so that you can gain exposure. And you can do that through social media. Make a post, a separate post saying, oh, my commissions are open. And you also put that on the bio. Or you can also post it on Twitter. Like, there are lots of people who have emergency commissions. And then ask support from friends. Can you retweet this? So that people can know I'm open to commissions. And it's usually best to put a price list. But before we get to pricing, I just want to say that experience is really, really relevant to art. People want to hire experienced artists rather than starting artists, and that's a sad reality, but it's true. So before I got commissioned to do any art, I still had an art account, and I would post all my organization's posters there, like the posters that I made in high school. I would post fan art, and fan art is also another way in which you can get your art out there, because you get to engage with people about what they love through what you love and making art out of it and making it visual. So for example, Viria, she's an artist on Tumblr. She posts a lot of Harry Potter and Percy Jackson art, and this essentially became what the fandom loved, and that's how they saw the character. And eventually, the author of the book, Rick Riordan, he commissioned Viria to make the character designs for the official art. And so that's one way of, putting yourself out there, is associating yourself with one fandom, or even associating yourself with a rising fandom so that you can be like the official artist of that fandom. Okay, another way to get yourself out there is by following trends. So I suggest you guys only follow the trends that you like. Don't follow the trends that you don't really have association with or don't have a connection with. Like for example, when I was starting off, people were telling me to make Blackpink art, but I don't know anything about K-pop, so why would I do that? At first, of course, it would make you, trendy. It would give you lots of following, it would give you lots of likes, but eventually if you're not enjoying the art you're doing and you don't actually want to do the art, then it's gonna show. And that's why I don't suggest you follow trends that you're not interested in. Rather, follow the trends you are interested in. Next up for the second question is, how do I price my art? And I get this question so much, and I've never actually come around to answering the question because I honestly don't know the answer. But I do have some tips for you guys to price your own art, because at first you are gonna underprice yourself. I made this mistake and everyone is gonna make this mistake. When you're starting off, obviously you don't really have an impression of how much you should cost or how much you should ask people to buy your art. And if you cost too much, they're gonna get mad at you and say, you're an amateur, you just started. So you don't want to cost too high, you don't want to cost too low. So what is the right amount of cost? When I started first portrait making, I would spend like 5 hours on a piece, and then it would cost 500 pesos, which is like $10. It wasn't worth 500 pesos. But that's how much I thought it was worth before, because I thought I was an amateur and I thought, oh, it's okay to, down price myself because, no one's gonna buy it if it's expensive. And I want to tell you guys that that is somewhat true.
How you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
When you start selling your art, you have to be ready for underpricing and underpayment, because people are not gonna want to pay you as much if you don't have much experience with commissions. So what I usually do is I price it based on how much I feel like is the right amount. So if the client asks why does it cost like this, you usually give a reason. Oh, it's detailed because of the amount of jewelry, the amount of makeup on it. And eventually, once you start getting more and more commissions, you can price yourself higher to the amount that you actually align your artwork with. So for example, at first I'd charge like 3K, and now I'd charge like 8 to 10K for a painting that I would spend loads of hours on. So there's this thing that I've come across when I was searching for the same things that you guys are watching right now, like how do I price my art, how do I do that? Some people would say price it based on the materials, the hours, the painting, how much you actually want to sell it for. And I completely disagree with this. People are not paying for the process. They're not paying you by hour on how you paint. They're paying for the final product. And so they don't really care about, how much materials you put into it, how much time you put into it, as long as you deliver them the product that they paid for. As I've said, I don't price based on that because it's too complicated and it's just super unrealistic. So I priced based on what I feel like it's worth. If I know the work's gonna be taxing, I'm gonna price more. If I know there are gonna be so much revisions, I price more. And I also put a limit to how many revisions I can make, because you have to make everything clear. If they add more revisions, you have to price more because that's more work for you. I you have to take into consideration all of these things. It's kind of vague, honestly, but it usually depends on size and the amount of detail. I need the client to be as clear as possible as to what they want, so I know how much to price it for. And if you are unsure, ask someone else. Ask a friend, ask a stranger, ask an acquaintance, and then maybe get like the overall average between the three of them, and then you ask yourself too. That is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace!